The Stalker, Mary.
What I'm about to tell you is straight out of a nightmare. It all began like any other day in my regular life. But, little did I know, someone was keeping an eye on everything I did. Weird things started happening, things I thought were just random. Every day, on my way to work, I'd spot the same guy at the bus stop. He stood there like a statue, really tall, with a hat pulled so low over his eyes that I couldn't see his face. At first, I figured he just had the same routine as me. But then, he started showing up in places I never expected: the grocery store, the park where I jog, even outside where I work. Naturally, I got a bit spooked. I mean, who wouldn't? I tried convincing myself it was all in my head, that I was being paranoid. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Things took a dark turn when I started receiving anonymous messages on my phone. Weird texts that hinted at things only I knew. Details about my daily routine, the color of my bedroom walls, even the pizza toppings I liked. It was like the stalker had a backstage pass to my life. I became really scared. To protect myself, I changed the locks on my doors, checked my windows 3 times, and started going home in different ways. But no matter what I did, it seemed like this person who was bothering me was always one step ahead. The messages they sent got even scarier, from just creepy observations to direct threats. It felt like I was the prey, and no matter where I went or what I tried, the stalker was always there, hiding in the shadows, like a constant, creepy presence. It happened one scary night. I was sitting there, watching TV, when suddenly, all the lights went out. It got really, really dark, and this creepy feeling crawled up my back. And then, out of nowhere, I heard it, a whisper, so quiet but definitely there. It was the stalker's voice, right outside my window, saying really unsettling things. I couldn't move, fear had me stuck in place. That's when it hit me, this wasn't just some random person, it was a predator who had invaded my life, and I was trapped in the darkness with them. Terrified, I called the police. They searched the area, but the stalker was like a phantom, leaving no trace behind. I couldn't sleep that night, haunted by the whispers. I knew I had to be vigilant, but I was going insane. Day by day, the stalker's tactics became more invasive. They started sending letters, handwritten, no return address. The words on the pages were a twisted mix of obsession and hatred. They knew about my childhood, my friends, even my deepest fears. It was as if this person had dug into the very core of my being. I set up cameras around my house, trying to see who the stalker was. But every time I checked the recordings, there was nothing, just quiet streets and empty nights. I felt really hopeless, like the stalker knew how to stay hidden, playing a twisted game of cat and mouse with me. They were always one step ahead, and it made the situation even scarier. Things got really bad. The stalker took it to a whole new level. They started wrecking my stuff. One day, I found my car scratched with creepy messages, and another day, my front door was covered in weird, disturbing symbols. It was like I couldn't escape, my own life felt like a prison. I couldn't relax, I always had to watch my back, waiting for the next scary thing the stalker would do. The police were sympathetic, but their hands were tied. Without concrete evidence, there was little they could do. I was devastated. My life was a wreck. I became a detective in my own nightmare, trying to piece together the puzzle of my stalker's identity. My friends urged me to move, change my name, start fresh, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the stalker would follow me, no matter where I went. One day, as I was scrolling through my social media, I noticed a new friend request, a profile with no photos, no mutual friends, just a blank slate. I knew who it was. Against my better judgment, I accepted, hoping to get a glimpse of the person who had turned my life upside down. The stalker wasted no time. Messages flooded my inbox, each one more sinister and disturbing than the last. They described my every move, my thoughts, my nightmares. It was like the stalker had become a puppet master, pulling the strings of my life with a sadistic pleasure. I deleted my social media, changed my number, and went off the grid. But the messages kept coming, finding new ways to pierce through my walls of isolation. It felt like the stalker was a shadow, always there, lurking just out of sight. I was really desperate by now. I decided to get a private investigator, someone who could figure out who was tormenting me. But the stalker was like a ghost. The investigator couldn't find any clues, no digital hints, nothing to follow. It felt like the stalker was this invisible presence, haunting me from the shadows, making the whole situation even scarier than ever. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I sent the stalker an email, pouring out all my fear, anger, and confusion, begging them to tell me why they were tormenting me. I was shocked when they actually responded. But what they said was twisted and disturbing, like a sick confession that made everything even scarier. The stalker said they used to be in my class back in high school, but honestly, I barely remembered them. It turned out they held a serious grudge, like this twisted obsession that grew over the years. The stuff they told me was like they rewrote our shared history in their messed up head, making everything seem creepy and distorted. It shocked me and made me really disgusted. I took the evidence to the police, and they finally had a lead. After what felt like an eternity, they finally caught the stalker. But the nightmare didn't stop there. The court hearings were really traumatizing. The stalker kept staring at me with eyes full of hate and satisfaction. Every moment in that courtroom felt uncomfortable and painful, like the nightmare was still going on. In the end, the judge issued a restraining order, but by then, the fear had already settled in. It was too late. I wasn't the same person anymore. I felt broken. Even though the stalker was behind bars, I couldn't get rid of the feeling that their presence was still hanging over me. It took years of countless therapy sessions, countless sleepless nights, and a constant battle with paranoia to start feeling kind of normal again. The fear just wouldn't let go, ever. If you found any enjoyment in the video, I implore you to click that like button and subscribe if you dare.